What's up, guys? Welcome to the You versus You podcast. You have me, Bailey Contreras.
And Lucas.
Lucas. Sorry.
I'm just gonna start saying my first name in the intros.
Yeah, no one's trying to say
No one cares
Fitzgerald.
about our full name.
Today, guys, we have something that I think everybody, not even people that are, into business, goes through or hears about or tries to get recruited into. I feel like everybody has an experience and something to say about this. And
It's a very,
today,
very hot topic. It's,
I see what
if
you
you
did there.
open Instagram,
I see what you did there because they shop at Hot Topic.
you'll be guaranteed
Oh my God.
to be getting recruited to one MLM or another.
Especially if you're listening to this and you are you follow people in the business or entrepreneurship realm and social media. Oh my God. And you are absolutely going to be getting DMs from people. Hey, nice to meet you. What do you do? Or, I don't want to crap on their companies, but this is the most popular one. Hi, how you doing? Are you open-minded when it comes to your business endeavors?
Or are you interested in making an extra full-time income but only working
Yeah.
part-time? Something
But I
like
feel
that.
like when they say, "Are you open-minded to it?" Like I feel like they read like one sales book and they're like, "Oh, bro, this is
This
heat.
is
Oh,
it. This shit right here.
This is
This
heat."
is it.
They were like, they just sent like 10 messages and they're just like waiting for the money to come. They're like, "Yo."
And by the way, I want to preference this by MLMs could be an amazing company for a lot of people to join, and people like Patrick Bet David who created their own just because they see that type of potential in growing the business. But another thing that I want to touch on real quick is MLMs are super low barrier to entry, and that could be a good or bad thing because it could help people who don't have a lot of money to start up to
Let's talk about the
level
good
up their
things first
lives.
then,
Yeah.
before we talk about our experience.
Because
So,
the negatives are going to sound like it's all MLMs are shit, but they're really not. And we just have personal experiences. We've both got scammed into going to a business meeting, but it was a recruiting meeting.
no, okay, that could be. I'm so glad you brought that up. I'm gonna write that down because that would be a perfect example on not the positives. Because this person straight up lied to get us there, and that's an example of
Brought the cap up.
you really don't know if you don't really know who your mentor is when you get in there. That's the person who's supposedly your mentor for like every aspect of your life, and it's gonna lead you to success. And you don't have a good one, and the chance is you don't have a good one because it's so low barrier of entry. You're gonna leave that place feeling like you got scammed, and anything related to entrepreneurship is a scam. Business related, or maybe even capitalism related, you're gonna think that all that stuff's a scam. And I have a bunch of people that have gone through the same thing. But so let's take a step back and talk about the good things. You want to go first?
Well, like I said earlier, it's a good and bad thing. The low barrier to entry is
First.
low barrier entry could be a good thing.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, there's other businesses that you could start with little to no money, but for a lot of them, you need like the mainstream ones, I guess you could say, the businesses that people really know about, like wholesaling. You don't need a lot of money to get into, but that's such a niche market.
Digital marketing.
Odds
yeah.
are people don't really know about
real
those.
estate in general.
Like when people hear about these ultra wealthy people and the businesses they start, they're like, oh, they got 300,000 from their parents to start that. They got $1 million from their parents to start it. I'll never be able to do that. So they hear about these MLMs and they're like, wait, this is like a legit business that I could start with no money. And a lot of times they get kind of sold a dream. So they're like, oh, I could get this and like blow it up. And sometimes people do blow it up. And that's why I think the low barrier to entry could be a good thing. Because I mean, I see ads sometimes of some guy in a certain company reaching a certain level. Fuck it, I'll say the company's huge. It's about some guy in Primerica hitting RVP. He was like the youngest in the company's history to hit it.
Yeah.
And like I'm like, dude, that's dope. Like he joined a company that is an MLM and he actually made something from it.
Yeah, I think I kind of touched on this already. Best case scenario in an MLM is when you have a good mentor.
Yes.
Because I personally know a lot of people that have a ton of success in MLMs. I personally, like, I actually know these people. I could give them a call that have made 7, 8 figures in an MLM. The benefit of an MLM in general, this is what they try to sell you on, is that it could eventually become passive because of the recruitment part of the business. And who doesn't want that? That is awesome. And the benefit of the MLM of getting a good mentor that can teach you that how to be successful, that stems from having a high value skills as a person in the marketplace. If they can teach you that and you go through the business focusing on building those high value skills, you're a recruiter, you're in sales. If you go through the business focusing on that and focusing on, for example, the big Forex industry, focusing on sales, recruiting people, and on the market, you're going to build some real high value skills. And that is awesome. You brought up Patrick Bet-Davids. They get a lot of product knowledge on their actual product. They actually help people. And then they're actually in sales. They have people. I actually personally know the guy that runs the sector in LA because my brother did business with him for his agency. And they're really bright. They're smart and they really train their people. And another thing that, other than the skills, if you get a great mentor and you have a very well structured circle in that part of the MLM, is you're constantly going to meetings, hearing all this positivity, being in an environment of people that want to be successful, being in an environment of these people that are spreading, the good word of entrepreneurship that you see on social media all the time. Be around a better network. Make better decisions, stay fit, be better in all aspects of your life. You can have this money young. You don't have to. Basically, they're trying to break those limiting beliefs that most people that grow up the way that we did have in their mind. Yeah. I think that's probably some of the best things that come from being in a business like that.
Yeah, and just to give like an example for like being able to build a really good network is, again, the Forex thing that's so hot right now. We know personally a lot of people that are in that, and we see them all the time at some dude's penthouse in LA who, I don't know how their ranking system works. I think he's like chairman, like 250 or something like that. But he owns a penthouse in LA, so obviously this guy's making really good money and has some really like good knowledge that he could share with them. And that's knowledge they probably wouldn't really have gotten anywhere else. I mean, if they stayed within their friend group and didn't branch out to, or even invest to start in this MLM, they would have never gotten that knowledge anywhere else because they would have just stayed in their little hometown doing whatever job they were working. But it was them taking that first step that they were able to build like a network with all these people who are not only like-minded, but some people that are making crazy amounts of money.
We have never been a part of an MLM ourselves,
so we can't speak on like personal insider stuff.
However, I think I can speak on personal insider stuff because I have been through enough to understand. And also, dude, we know, and I personally know a lot of people that, I will get into those. I will personally get into those experiences. Yeah. But I'll tell you the perfect kind of demographic that the MLM is for. If you're poor and no, I'm just kidding.
Someone actually, I saw YouTube videos. They say MLMs typically target people who aren't very well off in life already, and they feel sometimes those people could be taken advantage of, which I don't really know if I agree with, because if you're old enough to be in an MLM, you're old enough to have your own thought process, I would hope.
Well, I'll talk about Bill Ackman and Herbalife. Bill Ackman, I think he was pretty famous for this when this happened. I think he made a huge short on Herbalife because he was accusing them of being a scam, and I think they were going through some lawsuits as well, which they ended up coming out the winner, because he was accusing them of being a pyramid scheme. And I think what makes you a pyramid scheme is if your product solely relies on recruiting people and making money off of people below you. If you don't actually make money from the sales of your products or services.
Yep.
And so, and Bill Ackman was accusing them of, targeting that demographic and taking advantage of those people. And this documentary was on Netflix. It recently just got taken off right before I could finish it. But I think it's called, no, not The Big Short.
No, that's a different movie.
Yeah. Wow, you know about movies? This guy never watches movies.
I've seen every movie.
This guy just watched The Wolf of Wall Street yesterday.
For the 14th time.
No, he saw The Wolf of Wall Street for the first time
I've seen every movie there ever was.
I've been able to be this guy's friend. Well, look up Bill Ackman's documentary on Netflix.
I'm very well versed in movies.
It's terrible in movies and shows.
I watch all the shows, all the movies, all of them. Seen them all. You name it, I've seen it.
We speak all
Name
the
one right
languages.
now.
Good end.
Name one right now.
One movie?
Name a movie or a show.
Power.
It's a great show.
Oh my God.
Have you seen that movie?
Power?
No, The Ringer.
No.
Off topic real quick, but they tell him it's about Special Olympics, and one of them is like, yo, name a movie, any movie. And they go, Jaws. He goes, that's a great movie. It doesn't make any sense, but it was funny.
That's like with
Anyways.
directions. Name a street, any street. I know that street. I'm terrible with directions, guys.
This man will get lost in his own backyard.
If you check out, well, without my GPS, maybe. If you check out that documentary, Bill Ackman was accusing Herbalife of making money and targeting people in those, that kind of demographic. Just people that aren't very financially savvy. And in that documentary, you actually see people that gather together and they have protests against Herbalife trying to get their money back. They have such a, to people in that kind of situation, the startup fee to get in that business, those people need that back. And when they get into that business, they're told, oh, you're going to make this back so easily. All you have to do is this. And they feel like they were taken advantage of. And so this is, I touched on that because you were bringing it up, but I didn't get to talk about who I think that Herbalife is actually for. And you brought that up because I joked around and I said for, but that was a joke. Even though that is kind of who they target. They want people that aren't very financial savvy. But then again, you could get people that, are just ready to learn those skills. So it could be helpful. So this is who I think it would be perfect for. Someone who is interested or open-minded in entrepreneurship, that is looking to get into that kind of field, doesn't really have an idea exactly what, but knows that they want to be an entrepreneur and understands that you're not going to make money right away. Most people don't, or at least understands that most people don't make money right away. And if you are going to be the exception, and if you are going to be the 1%, that it's going to take work that the 99% weren't capable of doing in order to do that. And my issue with that is, and Lucas kind of brought it up, since it's so low barrier of entry, that is not the kind of people that they bring in. They literally bring in anyone
that they could get their hands on. They'll bring you in, and that's why a lot of people fail. I guess I don't even want to say fail because they kind of just quit because they sometimes honestly get sold a dream.
I was gonna say that. Yeah,
it doesn't happen within a month or two, and they're like, I'm out. I'm never doing this.
I'm gonna head out.
I'm about to head out, G.
And not only do they just head out, but they head out very close-minded, and they head out with that perspective that everything involved with entrepreneurship, business, because a lot of these people don't even know that they're in an MLM, so I can't even say MLM. They
don't even know what it is.
You guys
don't even know what an MLM is.
I'll bring up that story from the last time I was here. I got a DM from one of our favorite guys in the business, just another random guy. And he said, hey, are you open-minded when it comes to blah, blah, blah? He was like, yeah, I'm a straight up.
I'm about to close this
I'm a straight up closer.
This little ting right here.
And the first thing I asked him was, is it an MLM? He didn't want to answer. I asked that to every person. And nobody ever answers my question and says yes. He said, bro, I asked him if it was an MLM. He said, give me your number. I'll give you a call. And I'll explain it to you. If you aren't confident enough in what you're doing to tell somebody exactly what you're doing, you should not be doing it. If you don't believe in, and this is something that everybody has heard who's been on social media for at least more than 5 minutes, if you don't believe in your own product, you cannot convince anybody to believe in the product themselves. And you shouldn't be doing that because that's borderline, immoral. Why would you want somebody else to agree to something that you don't necessarily agree to yourself?
Yep.
Right? So I asked this guy, are you part of an MLM? And he said, bro, let me give you a call. And I said, just answer the question. And he said, he never answered the question, and nobody ever does. So if you hate getting those messages, just go ahead and do the same thing, and they'll leave you alone. But yeah. What about you? Do you get those messages a lot too?
I do. I normally just ignore
don't
them.
delete them.
Yeah, I normally just delete them. But I actually started asking people like you, is this an
What I told
MLM?
you?
And
They never
90% of the time they don't even answer.
No.
And I've had one say, "What's an MLM?"
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. A lot of them don't even know that they're in an MLM until they go home and they're like, "Hey," they tell their family, "I just joined this company. It's blah 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 blah," and then what do their families say? It's a pyramid scheme.
Which it's not.
Don't
It's
join.
an MLM. Pyramid schemes are highly illegal. MLMs structure their business in ways where, like, let's take, I think Primerica sells insurance, right?
Yes.
So they get money based off of recruiting people, but they also make money based off of selling insurance. So that's what makes it legal. But sometimes you get those people who say, "Fuck the insurance. I'm just gonna recruit." But since they're in that business, they're technically kind of operating on a pyramid scheme type of business, but they have the option of selling that insurance, which makes it
Well,
legal. I think.
That
Again, I
it's
have
it's
never
not
been in them.
it's
I'm just
not
saying I
deemed
think.
a pyramid scheme. You could deem the business a pyramid scheme. You can't deem someone is working it like a pyramid scheme because they're in because they're literally just following the rules.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it's like the same thing with like when you get tax benefits when you buy a property that the government incentivizes you to buy.
When you only spend $750 in taxes.
Yeah, let's get canceled in our second episode.
Let's get it.
But
If anything, the people in Nebraska would take us.
yeah, people
My
in Nebraska.
family.
So, I guess I'll get into my. I was actually gonna get into. Here's a perfect example of someone that got shitted on by their family, that was in an MLM, believed in it, had their mind turned from closed to open, had their mind turned from blue pill to red pill, if you will, from thinking that you needed a job, you needed to do this, and being okay with making less than 6 figures a year, to suddenly being open to a world where you can make however much you want, you could help people, and people that do make a lot of money actually do help people. He was in, I think he was in Primerica, but long story short, one of his family members was his mentor, and I was friends with this guy in high school, and I met him at an IHOP, and he told me what he was doing, and throughout my whole relationship with him, I never would have thought that he would be the type of person to join this. So I was kind of like, oh, this is interesting. And so I saw him at IHOP. We walked to a corner. We're waiting to be seated. And he was explaining to me what he was doing and how he got into it. And obviously I was into entrepreneurship as well. So whenever I see one of my friends doing something similar, I nothing but applause for them. And I noticed they took me away from his family to whisper it to me. We were away from his family, and even then he was still whispering to me what he was doing. And so I said, your family doesn't agree with this, do they? And he said, he just almost kind of like broke down in front of me, talking about how his brothers make fun of him, his family. Granted, his family is not the nicest.
Say his name.
Just kidding. No, because we ended up not ending this well, and I'll get to that in a second. And I told him, I said, you know what? That's very common in this industry, because this industry has been around for a long time.
Forever.
MLMs have been around for a long time.
And they're going to stay around forever.
A lot of people have been through the same thing that we talked about. If you get in and you don't have a great mentor, we haven't got into that yet. But if you get in and you get exposed to these things and you realize that it's not as easy as they say, when you leave, you're going to have a bad perspective, especially if you had a terrible experience and you didn't have the right people in your circle. So this guy was in it. I told him, just keep going. Don't listen to anybody else. Have tunnel vision. Just focus on it. And this guy even made money like super quick. At that time, he made more money than I was making, I think, as a salesperson in digital marketing. Or I don't know if I was in real estate at the time. But he made money. He made some sales in his business. And so I was like, dude, like, don't listen to these guys. Stay the course. Be tunnel visioned.
Wait, quick question. Do I know him too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We're not going to say his name.
um, and so that was the end of that conversation. Basically, I told him keep it up, and he said, "Yeah, bro, I'm good." Long story short, a few weeks later, I see him make a post on social media, and he was just like bashing on MLMs, and he was, or you know what? It wasn't even about MLMs. I think it was just about how people that make more than the average income are greedy. And I thought, okay, that didn't end well with the MLM. Long story short, he was explaining to me he had a family member as his mentor. He said he was taking advantage of him, and from then on, we ended up going back and forth on Instagram DM about me being so confused how his mind could just be switched around, and he literally couldn't get over the fact that his family member tried to take advantage of him, try to make money off of him, and he was convinced that the whole business was a scam. And when I asked him, does your family member represent the entire business? His answer to that was, well, why do they charge you when you join? And I think that mentality comes from the fact that, sorry, I know I keep banging it. I'm gonna stop. That mentality
Audio's gonna be all crazy.
comes from that bad.
Nah, probably not. These mics, you might be able to hear a little bit, but
Overdramatic.
we should be good. These
That-
mics cost $5,000.
That mentality comes from the fact that he was not exposed to the right ideas. He must have been told that, you know, this thing is easy. You're gonna make money right away. And this uncle, oh, I said it was an uncle. He's gonna know exactly what I'm talking about now. But
Well, you guys still aren't friends. So.
actually, kind of, because I'll tell you how I ended it.
I never really talked to him that much, but he was a cool dude.
His uncle straight up took advantage of him, and he was actually really sick at the time. So my friend couldn't really do anything, and my uncle was still trying to make money off of him. Obviously, this person is not the kind of person that should be a mentor to anybody. And if this person is,
That was a good transition, actually.
yeah. If thanks, bro.
We out here, we doing this.
If this person is and again, it's because it's our experience. This is
Yeah.
the truth. And so, dude, we went back and forth on DMs about how, and so the question he kept asking me, well, why do I have to pay for it? And so he doesn't understand that nothing is free in a business. There's a startup cost. In that business, the startup cost is so low, and
Yep.
the potential to make more money is there in an MLM. It is there. Without the right mentor and without the right ideas, it's nearly impossible, because especially if you're starting with a bare foundation with no books, no kind of like industry knowledge, or even self-development books that to
Yep.
keep you headstrong and to keep your mindset strong enough to persevere through situations like that. You're gonna be exposed. Your limited beliefs are gonna be exposed. So by the end of this conversation, literally throughout the entire conversation, I was just asking him questions. Like, I kept asking him, does this guy represent the entire business? Why did this guy change your mind? And then it got to the point where he said, you're just like my uncle and you're trying to take advantage of me. I'm not joking with you. And I literally was not asking him for
He
anything.
showed me the DMs, by the way, so I could verify.
Oh, so you do know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so at that point I said, you know what? I'm sorry if I made you feel that way. I don't know why you're attacking me like that. But I mean, I'm sorry you went through that. And so I was like, I hope you could forgive me and we can still be friends. Because at the end of the day, guys, you don't want, well, personally, I hate having bad blood with anybody. So obviously I don't agree with this person, and we probably aren't going to have hangouts, just me and him, just because I just don't like to be around those kind of minds. But I didn't end it on a bad note, and that's a perfect example of that low barrier of entry can be very detrimental, because you are in the hands of who knows. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I also, that actually made me think of, that's not something that just happens in MLMs. We have another friend who was going to do something else, and then I remember, not even like a month or two later, you told me he started telling you like, oh, money's like the devil and it's the root of all evil, and rich people are like basically if you want money, like you're being seduced by the devil or something crazy like that. So I don't know. I just wanted to throw that out there because like that's not just an MLM thing, but it is something that is very prevalent within MLMs. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. But
That's a good topic for another for another episode. I'm glad that you brought that up.
Yeah. To touch on that, the mentor thing is the way they get, like they recruit people is like, join this and I'll mentor you. But it's like, you've been doing this for like 2 weeks and I've known you for years. I know the type of shit you've been doing for years. Like, what qualifies you to be someone's mentor after doing something for 30 minutes?
Yeah, go ahead to talk about that. You could talk about Lucas has a group of friends. They're my group of friends too, but they're closer to his age group, so he hangs out with them more. And a lot of them recently just got into it.
I'm 3 months older than Bailey or something like that.
No, you're not.
4.
Oh,
November,
sorry, it's probably because
December.
I'm taller than you.
That's not true.
Guys, I'm taller than Lucas.
These chairs. I'm actually sitting on the floor right now. No, but I do have a group of friends that are doing the Forex MLM, which, first of all, props to them, taking a investment into their future. And I have some of them that are actually doing like really good. They made some really good advancements. But then I have some other friends that I'm like, you
shouldn't be doing that.
And the ones that are doing well, I've noticed this. They do recruiting and trading. And they were also like really smart guys, like in high school in terms of book smart. I never really talked to them about like entrepreneurship just because I didn't know that was something they were into. But then I talked to there's some other people in there that went to other schools and the school that I went to. And I'm like, dude, I've seen the shit you do. I would not want you to mentor me at all. I've seen how you talk. I've seen the stuff you talk about. And
it's not even that they go through a ton of time to have an epiphany to change, because I think when you're young, that can happen to you. I've seen it. Lucas is saying this person was that person a week ago. Yeah. And now today he's telling me that he
not
can
even
change
that
my
much
life.
Time. Like, honestly, dude, like I see that some people sign up and all of a sudden after signing up, they're Gary Vaynerchuk. They're like all of a sudden like super quasi motivational people. And
the people doing good that you brought up that they were pretty smart. I know who you're talking about. We all played basketball. They were also very good at our sport, and they were also very competitive.
These are the people that were like dedicated to whatever it is that they're doing, and one of them's still very dedicated to basketball. He'll probably know if he even listens to this, he'll know who it is. Like, but this dude's like constantly grinding in the gym. He's constantly like just always working and always keeping himself busy to be like better at whatever it is he does. Which, so you see someone like that and you're like, yeah, no shit, they're gonna be successful. And
that
like,
would be a great personality type to bring into the business, and that's why he's doing so well in the business. And so in that group of friends, there's also people that are not that kind of person. Yep. And I mean, they literally just joined, so let's see how that turns out. But
but just to talk on, I lost my train of thought. We'll use him as an example, the same guy. We're not going to use any names just because we don't know if they want us to use their names.
We might bring him on another episode.
I saw him tweeting on Twitter against someone that was like talking shit about Forex guys. And he talked about how much money he made. So I'll say it because it's like public information. He did it for like maybe since June to like, I think I saw this tweet him in like August, and he had already made like $8,000, which that isn't enough for like a living, but for doing something for 2 to 3 months to make $8,000. And I think he's now at a point where he's getting like 1 to 2K in residual income. Like, that's fucking dope. And he's learning how to trade, which is something that can potentially make him 30 to fucking hundreds of thousands of dollars in a single day.
Yeah. And like you said, like being in that environment, being in a penthouse, having those meetings.
Yeah. Like, I wouldn't mind having him mentor me because he obviously knows what he's doing, and he's like always worked towards like the shit that he's wanted.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that's best case scenario.
I don't even know if I want to say best case scenario. I think that's just getting the right person into the business.
Yeah, that's a better way to say it. Another example of that actually hits closer to home to me and Lucas,
a very close
when we were younger, is actually how I was exposed to this industry.
Yeah,
livelihood.
When me and Bailey first met, it was just we both played basketball together.
Basketball team.
I had already been interested in entrepreneurship, and I knew Bailey was super like school focused. Like I'm gonna go to college. Like
Yeah, that
I'm
was
pretty
my
sure if
identity.
he got accepted, your mom worked at USC, right? So like if you
Yeah.
got accepted, you had a free full ride.
Yeah.
So
So
he was
imagine how they
how
reacted when I said,
yeah, and imagine how
"I'm gonna dip
motivated
out."
he was for school
Yeah.
to get into that. But then we were taking summer school one time. I think I probably failed something and you were trying to get ahead.
That's true. That's 100%.
So
I
that's
was taking
exactly
like
what
an
happened.
extra class in summer, and
And I had
you're catching
to
up.
catch up so I wouldn't drop out. When I tell you guys I hated school, just take my word for it.
Yeah.
But he had that class with our other friend, I think. Did you have that class, or did he also was behind?
I
on
think
something?
he was in football that year, so he was
Oh,
there
yeah,
for
he
his
was just
football
practicing
practice
for
in the
football.
summer, and we were both in the gym because we were practicing for basketball,
Yeah,
and we were friends from outside of this. So
yeah, he was closer to him at that point. That
oh,
actually
you had a
might
class
be
with him, no?
I had a class with him, but I'm pretty sure that summer is like when we first became friends.
Yeah.
So he gave Bailey the book or whatever, and then like he's the guy that introduced Bailey into entrepreneurship.
Yeah, so I'll talk about that. So, because that has 100% to do with he was in an MLM, or actually he wasn't, but he was being sold this, so he threw away his
He almost
years
sold
in
us
school.
on it too, by the way.
I wouldn't say almost. I'll tell you what happened. So, like Lucas mentioned, I was a book nerd geek in high school, proudly. I think that's
Not a bad thing.
But yeah, even though I decided not to be in school, when God willing, when I have kids, I'm gonna make sure that they're on top of their shit because I learned how to learn. Mark Cuban talks
Yep.
about this. I learned how to learn how to be dedicated and how to manage my time. I was in sports, I was in school, and I was good at both. So
For me, I just want to touch on it real quick. For me, since obviously like I'm not gonna hold my kids to a standard that I didn't hold myself to, so I don't mind if they're not doing crazy good in school as long as they're doing something outside of school. Because even though I wasn't doing
As long
something
as
in
they're doing
school, I
something,
was
yeah.
always doing something outside of school. Whether that was selling weed, just kidding, I never did that.
as long as
Yeah.
it was
Like
renting
even
a
if it's
trafficking
just
ring.
even if it's just like they're going crazy in sports, because that's kind of what I was doing. Like I wasn't just sitting at home being lazy, playing video games all the time, even though I did play video games a lot. But even when I was playing video games, I was making YouTube videos because I was thinking like, dude, this could be
This is
something.
it.
This is eat.
I'm about to get the bag.
How can I get people under me? So
How can I
could-
make some El Caren?
How could I make some El Gren?
That means green in Spanish,
That's green in
guys.
Spanish. We're bilingual.
We're bilingual. Sorry.
We took Spanish
yeah.
in summer school. The one time I tried to get ahead, and I was like, "This ain't for me," and I dropped out.
Oh yeah, I forgot we took it together. I was so mad when you
I was
left.
in there for like 2 weeks.
You were
and I
there
was
like half the class, bro, and you dipped like halfway. I was like, bro, we're almost there.
had
That's an
business.
example of how much this fool hated school. This fool was halfway done with the class.
They were trying
and
to
he was
rob
like,
me of
"I'm
my
a dip."
summer.
Bro,
I think it was mandatory for us to take it because that was when they forced me into Avid, even though I had no fucking business
Oh.
being in there.
Yeah, I think you probably took
I
it 'cause
knew-
I was like, take you with me.
Yeah, I knew a teacher from my sister who was a softball coach who she's
Yeah.
amazing. I love her. And her and my mom worried so much about my future. She was like, get him into Avid. I don't like in middle school, I didn't have the grades at all. At some point in middle school, I had like a 0.2 GPA because I didn't do anything and I had Fs. Even
Yeah.
in gym, even in PE,
This guy.
because when we had to play other sports, I would just play basketball. I didn't care about softball. I didn't care about soccer, football, nothing.
So that's our two different.
I'm gonna be hooping over here.
That's our two different spectrums.
Yeah.
We could talk about our experiences and our early experiences in school in another episode. So
I got sidetracked.
I was about to say his name. Our friend, our friend. Sorry, guys.
They might have heard that. I might have to bleep that.
No, they're not. Even if they do, this guy knows.
The
This guy
colored
knows what
bars
we're
would be like,
talking about.
bloop.
So we were friends. I was close with this guy. He was in my friend group, and I was just always that guy that was on top of his stuff. And looking from the outside in, like Lucas said, you would probably think, oh, this guy is just focused on school. He's closed-minded. He's not going to do anything else. But like I
didn't say
said,
all
I
that.
was.
I just said you were very good in school. I didn't say you were closed-minded.
Well, I'm saying looking from the outside in, someone looking
Might
like,
have said that.
yeah, someone could definitely say that because that's what I was focusing on. I was not reading extra books on the side like I was eventually about self-development, anything like that. My friend approaches me and he says, "Read this book." And this is my friend who is awful at school. Like literally, it's just wanting to
Worse
get
than me?
by. Um,
Nah, no
nah,
way.
you
Huh?
literally dropped out, homie. This guy was literally just
Gonna
like
be a
trying to
good
get
success
by,
story,
like
though.
not even trying. If anything, just trying to be bad. Like literally trying to just not care about school.
Sound like my mom.
And so someone telling me to read this book, I was like, get out of here. It was Robert Kiyosaki's The Book of the 21st, The Business of the 21st Century.
That's
He
It's
was like,
crazy that how you just said it, like your friend that you wouldn't take any advice from gave you the book that like enlightened you.
yeah,
That's insane.
It's crazy. And then I didn't want to read it. I don't even remember how he convinced me to read it. You have to ask him. I think he gave it to me. I was like, yo, I'm not gonna
He
read
did
it.
the clock and he said, "Follow the clock," and he just hypnotized you.
Yeah. I really don't remember how he got me to read it, but I remember cracking it open, and like a lot of the self-development books, they're written in a way that it's like very entertaining to read. Like it's an
Yep.
easy read, entertaining to read. You feel good about yourself when you read it. So I'm not surprised that once I started reading it, I felt good about it.
Because even
And
before that, you were into like self development, just in other aspects. Like you've always been into fashion. You've always cared about like the way your hair looked, stuff like
working
that.
out, yeah. Yeah, and I actually think I was reading self-development books. I think I was reading like the Four Agreements, Miguel Ruiz books. So yeah, I was reading books, and so I don't remember how this guy convinced me to read it, but I read it, and I finished that thing super fast. And then after I read it, I was literally convinced I was taught a lie. Like I would tell my parents, like, oh, I don't need to go to college, and they were like, yeah, you're gonna move out if you don't go to college, which I ended up testing them on.
You won that. They
In
passed.
another episode.
They failed.
They failed. Thank God I have.
Sorry, I love your
awesome
parents, really.
Yeah, I love
Your mom has a very dope birthday, by the way.
They have the same birthday. So does your. You want to tell him why I said that?
We'll probably talk about it in the future. My dad walked out on me, but we'll talk about that later.
I thought I was getting milk.
He's at the store right now. He'll be
Yeah,
back.
he
He promised.
He's bringing milk for the finals.
Yeah, he's getting the barbecue ready.
So he got me to read this book. I read it, and my whole perspective was flipped. I was saying things at home that I was never saying before, and so this
Just walked around your house like this.
I literally I was walking around like
Hey,
this,
Mom,
like,
Dad.
trying to shake hands. Like
Business.
they would hand me my plate of food, and I'd be like, "Thank you," and I
I
shake hands.
appreciate the transaction.
Um,
This was very
Thank you
beneficial
this
for the
business
both parties.
transaction. And I looked at, I was about to say his name again. I looked at my friend as like this messiah that just like enlightened me as like,
He thought he was Gandhi.
yeah, exactly.
He
That's how I
ended
looked at
up
him.
telling me something about him. He's like, I'm pretty sure he came up to be like, "Yo, did Ernie tell you about this?" And I
Yeah.
was like, "No, but I've."
I was
I've
like,
heard of that
are you
before."
enlightened as well?
They ended up giving me the book, and I read it in like maybe 2 days or something
Yeah, it
like
was an
that.
easy read.
It's a super easy read. It wasn't that long. It was like 150 pages. I
Yeah.
probably could have finished it in one day, but I kind of procrastinated like every other time.
Let me get to the point why I brought up our
Sorry.
homie. I read the book. I was this guy's little little henchman for that time since I was under his little spell. And so this guy was in an MLM, and the reason for giving me that book was because he said we can achieve all of this through an MLM.
He wasn't in it yet.
No,
but he was going
sorry.
to once he turned 18.
He had an older cousin that was in it, and the older cousin and our friend that we're talking about has a ton of siblings. So a ton, like like a lot,
Like too many.
like too many.
Just kidding.
Oh my god. Like if they're in China, they'd be in jail right now.
What?
Because they have a limited capacity on how many
Well,
kids.
that's
you
the
can
end of
have.
this episode. We're not going to be getting canceled today. We love you, China.
Do we though? I'm just kidding.
This is getting edited out.
Nah.
I do not condone what Bailey is saying right now.
No, we don't. I'm joking. I just like to pull his leg.
Someone's
It's
gonna come
I
back
like
to this
to. I
in
like.
10 years
I like
and be
to
like,
uncancel us. Oh man, I
You
just like
can't
to.
cancel
I
an
just
uncancelable.
like to pull his leg because I'm
Bailey
taller
has
than
very
him.
dark humor.
Not really, but um,
We
his
have dark
his cousin was gonna get my friend's entire family into it, and so my friend was trying to get us into it as well. My friend had great intentions. Obviously, that what he did for me changed my life. So as time passed on, as I continued to listen to my friend, um, I would ask more questions. I would read more of his books. And so I remember the biggest pivot point that I asked him, because Robert Kiyosaki in that book, he actually does talk about how MLMs are low startup costs, and he says that you should join them. I remember that. And then he also talks about real estate.
MLMs could be a great thing to start, dude. If you have
and
the
then
right
so,
mindset and you're
and then
gonna
so,
work
but
for
I
it.
think in the book, Robert Kiyosaki talks about like starting your own MLM, like your own actual company. That was literally the only time I ever read that book, so I could be wrong. But I remember asking Ernie more about the book and like about real estate and all this other stuff. I was like, "Oh, do you study this stuff too?" And he said, "No." And I said, "Well, what do you do?" And he basically just didn't do anything. He wasn't focused on school and nothing, and he was putting his whole life on hold, his whole like all of his energy and effort on hold, saving it for when he was old enough, because we were in high school, when he turned 18, so that he could join the business, and literally believed that he was going to join and become a billionaire. So I remember asking him this question: you think you could just become a billionaire by just being in the right spot, like joining this and literally standing in the right spot?
Yeah.
And then in this much time, I'm going to have this money. And that is what is poisonous beyond, I mean, comprehension, because that is not the way it works. And those are the kinds of people that leave feeling like they were wronged, because that's not the way it works. And so obviously, and then so
But he's still in it though, so
yeah.
like he wasn't one of the people that joined thinking that and quit. He still says he's working towards it.
You want to tell him why you?
I'm not trying to
stopped?
bash on him.
He's our homie, but
let's be honest, MLMs are a sales business.
I was gonna touch on that right now.
Okay, go
So
ahead then.
so he went through all of this time believing that that's all he had to do. So he developed no work ethic. So when it came time for him to put in the work, I sounded Nazi, but
What is that from?
it's,
Where did that come from? What in the world did you just do?
I'm not even gonna explain, because God knows you haven't seen Inglourious Bastards.
I haven't.
You see what I mean?
This is the one movie in the world I've never seen.
Oh my God. When it came time for my homie to put in the work, he didn't. He had no work ethic, and so right now, I mean, we've been 18 for. He's been 18 for a few years now. When it
He
came,
hasn't been 18 for a few years. He's aged since then. He is now 19 and 20. He has not been 18 for years.
his work ethic's so poor. He's been 18 for years now. It's a terrible pandemic.
Stopped his aging. That was funny.
Pray for the homie. He has the only people that his job is to recruit and
Sales.
sell Amway products.
Sell people on joining the business and teach people how to sell Amway products.
That's gonna tie into what I'm getting into. He like only people that he's recruited are like family members and very 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 close friends, like his girlfriend.
Isn't that his only legs for?
We haven't spoke to him in a cool minute,
Yeah.
but as far as we know,
He's
last
only
time
had
we
one
spoke to him
leg.
was in a few months, and he has like
I wanted to bring that
so
up.
little.
He's been in it for years. Has one person under him. We know the guy that we talked about earlier, who's like really committed to stuff he does.
Tell him why. Tell him about the conversation about sales.
I will right now. But the guy that we said is like really dedicated to the stuff he does. He
Then
tweeted
more.
and he has like 80 people under him in months. And our friends.
That's tough to believe though.
I mean,
I think when you get to that point, you could start making a lot more than I think when you get to
I
that point,
might
you
have
start
the
making
number
more
wrong.
than 80,
I might have the number wrong,
8,000.
but he has a significant amount more than just one person under him, and he's only been doing it since I think he said June.
Yeah, and so this friend that we're talking about, he's constantly marketing on Instagram, on his social media. And this is the same guy that was dedicated. You know,
Yeah, it's two of them. And if
um,
you guys are listening to this, you probably know who you are, because you're like the only two people. You guys have both hit me up about it. And I told you guys good luck with
they
everything
hit
you're
me
doing.
up. They hit me up too.
But like you guys always post about it. You guys are dedicated. You're always
So yeah,
in that
don't
penthouse
talk
talking
to
to
him
him.
though.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
And if you guys want to be on the podcast, hit me up.
yeah,
Tap in.
absolutely. Tap in. Only going up. So I remember having a conversation with this friend after I started my own journey. I found my own mentor, realized sales was one of the highest skills that you could learn as an entrepreneur. Got into it, and then went back to talk to my friend, and I said, "Yo, you should learn sales. If you learn sales, you would recruit so much more people. You would learn how to generate more leads. You would close more because he also sells the products that his business sells. You could sell more products and you could recruit more people. It's literally like the only high value sales and marketing. Every business is sales and marketing, but in this one specifically, talking to people in person, communication. That's literally if you had that one thing, if you could choose any skill, being in that position that he's in that industry, that one thing would probably change his life.
Yeah, sales would.
His answer to me was he does not have a sales job.
It's not sales, foo.
It's
So
different.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what he said. It's
Yeah,
not
he's like,
sales,
nah,
foo.
fool, it's not sales. Nah, fool, I'm good. Trust me.
Which, if he's listening to this, which I doubt, he doesn't have any social media. Which,
Bro, don't talk to him through this.
I'm gonna talk to this fool through this if I want.
Arm wrestle for it.
What?
I said arm wrestle for it.
Uh,
Put in the work.
You've never even seen that movie.
Thanks for lifting, guys. Yeah, so he was literally convinced that he is not in a sales job. He does not do sales. And his job is literally to talk to people when they are conveniently in his way, when he's about his day.
I think he's described it as having casual conversations.
He described it as when I go out, like and he's usually home. So that means like when he's at the grocery store or whatever. When people pass by, which I would bet money he doesn't even do. Start having a casual conversation with them. And then his line, which he doesn't understand, is his pitch. If he read sales, his pitch is, "Hey, bro, what do you do?" And then they say it. And then he says what he does. And then if they ask him about it, then he tells them about it. If they don't, then he just goes about his way. If he understood sales, he would understand that it's a numbers game. And if you are just waiting till these people conveniently pass by you, number one, you are literally basing your dreams and your future on how often you're conveniently passing by people and how often you conveniently feel the urge to talk to someone.
And it's also like a numbers game. The more people you talk to, the better you're going to be able to do in that.
Yeah, he doesn't
and by
understand
eliminating all of social media, that's cutting down the potential to meet people by hundreds of millions, quite literally.
And I also brought up to him, I was like, dude, you need to market on social media. He's like, nah, we don't do that. He doesn't even have a social media. He's like, nah, I'm not like that. I just like to conveniently talk to people. I'm like, bro, you're putting all of your dreams on convenience. That's what I mean. Like he's like you're literally going against like all the rules of being successful. Like even the most general ones, like go out there and get that shit yourself.
Yep.
I mean, this is what I mean. This all goes back to his belief that he is gonna make it by conveniently standing in this perfect spot.
He's trying to bank on like right place, right time. Because like even if he conveniently talks to someone, what are the odds of that person's gonna listen to some random person on the street on "Food, let me make you a millionaire" type shit?
Exactly. And if he understood sales and marketing, he would understand lead generation and the kind of people that he should be targeting to actually recruit people.
Yeah.
To learn how to do it better than the guys that just hit you up. Oh, are you open and making blah blah blah? Because there actually are some people. There's very few. You know what? Probably 2 people that have hit me up with like, actual real. They made an actual real connection with me. You could tell they read and they're developed.
Yeah.
They made a real connection with me, and then they offered me the opportunity. I said no, but we still keep in good contact. And if I ever met someone that I think would be perfect for that position, I would send them to those people. This was like I remember this was a year ago, and I still remember because this was the one person that made a genuine connection with me on social media, so we could have that conversation. And nobody does that.
They just got shorter to make it more realistic. But also with like the hey, what do you do? It's kind of like hiding what their business is about, because like they won't even tell them what it's about until they get in that far into it. You know what I mean?
I didn't even talk.
Say?
I didn't even say the pitch. The rest of his pitch is when the other person asks my friend, "What does he do?" He says, "Dude, I forgot exactly what it was, but it was literally like if you're looking at it features and benefits wise, it is literally like benefits like very very far off. He doesn't even bring up the actual product. He doesn't even bring up the actual features.
Yeah.
He just says, "Oh, I help people make."
There you go. That's what I was trying to say.
He says, "Oh, I help people make passive money, and I get paid passively, so I don't have to work for money."
Yeah, something like that.
That is literally the
Which is
pitch.
like what most of them are. They're like, oh, I help people generate X amount of money through part-time work. But I feel one thing that's working so well for the Forex is like they're super upfront about what it is they do. They're like, yo, we trade and we recruit people. You down? That's obviously a really dumb way that I just said it.
And
but
I think that's because they're from. We can't talk about everybody. We can only talk about the circle that we're exposed to.
Yeah.
But they are actually very product focused. They are always talking about their products.
Yeah, exactly.
Our
But
friend
like
that we're
our
talking
other
about
friend,
never talks about his products.
they're gonna get so confused because it's just our friend, our other friend, our other friend.
Our
other friend.
other friend that we're talking about that never talks about his product. He's in Amway.
Yeah.
So
Our
they
friends that
saw
are, like,
they saw
actually-
Amway products.
Yeah.
He never talks about the product. It's only talking about recruiting.
Yeah.
And if you're allowed to make money legally through recruiting,
Mm-hmm.
then you should focus on being a better recruiter.
Yep.
Am I wrong? And he literally just does. He's like, no, that's not what you're supposed to do. So I literally, and so as time passed on, he was kind of more open minded to it, and so we hung out like a few months ago. Copped a cigar.
We're over
in the
21,
backyard.
guys.
We're over
not
21.
We're not 20.
Well, I said we copped it. I didn't say we smoked it.
Oh yeah, we just had it like we just held it to look cool,
yeah.
you know. And it wasn't even
To
tobacco.
flex on Instagram
we
pictures.
took all the tobacco out and just put something else.
Protein.
Put protein in there. We put a
Put
slice of
protein in
cheese.
it.
Put a cheese stick in there.
He was more open-minded to it, so I gave him a sales book. I told him to read it. Hasn't touched it. This guy actually has been reading the same book
For about 6 years now.
Yeah, sounds like we're bashing on him, but my point is that it's so toxic when you get in and you don't have the right mentor and you believe that just being in the right position is going to make
using
you.
his as an example.
That's
of
exactly
that.
what we're doing. We're just using it as an example because if you are in the same position in any industry doing anything, even trying to make it in school, just because you're in school taking a class does not mean that you're going to come out on the other side with a job, with the exact job that you want. You have to put in the work. You know what I'm saying? Just because the path of the journey has been taken before and it's been laid out for you, doesn't mean you don't have to cut through the same jungle.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're able to skip that. You have to go through the same triumphs, you have to go through the same journey, and you have to face the same battles.
Yeah, and even like to jump back to the school analogy, like if you're in school and you're in a class for a subject that you're interested in, but the teacher sucks and like kind of doesn't really teach you like how am I trying to put this? Like I could use an example.
Like when
I'm interested in like
bad teachers.
I'm interested in learning about history, but for some reason, all of the history teachers I've ever had put me to sleep within 5 minutes of being in the class. I had an English teacher my sophomore year of high school. I hate English. That's when I didn't like reading and I hated writing essays. But that teacher made the class so fun, so interesting. I think that's like the only time I got an A in my entire high school career. Because he just made it so good that it made me want to work. That it made me interested in like. So basically what I'm trying to say is like if you have the right mentor, they're going to make you like want to go out and work. They're going to make the business something lucrative, not just for them, but for you as well.
And the only warning with these kinds of structures is, again, it's so low barrier. The chances of you getting someone like that is very low.
Yeah, because odds are it's one of your homies hitting you up and like your homies, odds are, if you guys are friends, you're interested in the exact same things. So you're like, I mean, I basically know everything you know. What are you gonna teach me?
Yeah, and so we've talked about good stuff about the Forex guys. I could talk about some things that I already know is going to end up blowing up in their faces. Is a lot of these MLMs don't teach you that you need high value skills, and we went full circle with this with my story about the friend.
Mm-hmm.
They don't teach you that you need high value skills to be successful in general. They literally just want you to. All these people just really mimic, I'm assuming, what other people are doing. And
Yeah,
so and so
like in terms of the trading, I could kind of talk on that. They do a thing called a copy and paste method, which if it was in the normal stock market, it sounds like it would be insider trading. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to do more research on that, which would basically be illegal. But they sell a trading course, so you can actually learn how to trade. And then if you have any other questions, you could either ask the higher ups or research it on your own. But I've talked to a couple of them who are like, oh yeah, I haven't even gone through that. If I ever do trade, I just do the copy and paste. But I honestly don't even focus on trading. I'm just focused on recruiting.
yeah, and so they're not learning any high value skill in trading, and they're not learning any high value skill in recruiting and sales and communication and in marketing. Like even when you see them, is it true or is it not true that all of their stories when they're trying to recruit people are like exactly the same with the exact same words with the exact same
Yeah, they
tactics?
are. And I mean,
And the message itself is not written well. It's literally like all act. They're asking you to take action without giving you an incentive to take that action, or without like literal basic things in marketing. If you're gonna put out a piece of marketing, you want the other person to know what the benefit is, right? Um, and that's my point, is that it's not a priority in these companies to teach high value skills and to teach these people that they're not going to be successful because of being in the company. They're going to
yeah,
be successful because they're going to learn these high value skills that they are going to be able to apply in this company with these products.
yeah,
And then when they're good at that, they can help other people and then become more successful in the company.
yep. And just to reiterate on what I said earlier, how you said they're not learning any skills, the ones that I do seeing doing well inside the MLM company are the ones that actually post like their profit losses on trading, the ones that are actually learning how to trade. My friend sent me, because now he knows that I'm trading, he sent me one of his profit loss, and he made like $500 that day. And that shows me like, oh shoot, he's actually making money from trading.
So he's
That
learning a high value
could
skill of
actually
trading.
get some, yeah, that
Yeah.
profit could actually get someone to like join the business because they see, oh shit, you made $500 in a day. I want to do that too. But then there's some people that I follow who post like $2.50 profits for the day, and that's not really lucrative to like getting people to join. You know what I mean?
Right. I think and I think the only negative to what they're doing is that the team you're talking about, even the person you're talking about, they're not learning any of their skills other than trading, as far as like the marketing and sales part.
Yeah.
Um, but so if you are able to kind of wrap this episode up,
Yeah.
if you are that kind of person that is open, because like we said, we're not there is a time and place, there is a demographic, there is a type of person that this would be phenomenal to. I personally know people who have made a lot of money in MLMs. Actually, the successful company in real estate that I worked for, they got started in an MLM because their MLM actually taught them sales skills. They learned how to talk to people. They learned how to be a friend. Just basics, how to win friends and influence people type stuff.
Yeah.
And after that, they were able to start their company in real estate with the skills that they already learned in an MLM. So if you're barely starting out and you don't have a great network around you, you don't really know what to do, what kind of product to start, but you know that you want to, as far as your financial life, you know that you want to do something great. You want to make a lot of money. You want to be an entrepreneur. You want to have a business. You want to learn things that will allow you to take more control of your life financially, personally, in the future. then I think it would be a great position for you. Just heed our warnings in terms of having a good mentor, knowing now that you have seen this episode, you are aware that you can't just be a part of anything and then expect to
Yeah.
reap any benefits. You have to be aware that you have to earn some high income skills.
I just wanted to say something real quick. I talked a lot about the Forex, and I talked about how it's really good because I think it's a good thing for people to join. But one thing that I absolutely do not like is what they do is that they guarantee success, which is always a huge red flag for me. I don't think
All
you
of them do.
guarantee success in absolutely any field.
All of them
You
do.
just can't.
That's you
'Cause-
you literally just piggybacked on what I said. You have to understand that you're not guaranteed success. You're guaranteed a position to learn to be in a position where you can apply and
Yeah.
learn these high value income skills.
Because the Forex market, the biggest financial market in the entire world, they do like $5 billion turnover every single day. I'll get through this fast because we're kind of running out of time. But this is day trading or just trading in general, something people actually go to like Ivy League schools to learn how to do, to be like investment bankers. People
Right.
study for years and years and years, like 10 fucking years to learn to just be profitable day trading. So to say that you could just hop in and guarantee someone success is a red flag to me.
Exactly.
The success to fail rate in day trading is 90% failure, which is basically people just blowing up accounts and quitting. But still, like, it's such a crazy market. There's no way to guarantee success in it.
Do not join because one of your homies in it. Do not join because you think it's going to be the easy way out. If
Don't-
anything, it's a hard ass business to be into.
Anything's going to be hard. Nothing's going to be easy.
Especially since it's so, even more since it's so low barrier, it's even harder. There's more people that are just like you with the exact same product.
Yep.
And the only thing that's going to make you different is, again, learning those high value skills. So let's talk about, to finish this off, I kind of started already. Who is this for? It's someone that knows that they want to have a future where they can have more control of their financial life.
Someone
who want to be an
who's-
entrepreneur. They're entrepreneur minded.
Someone who's either been targeted to join an MLM or has just considered joining an MLM on their own. I feel like they could use this. I got a hair on my mic.
Someone who is open minded. Okay. That maybe doesn't know which way to go yet, and it feels like they're stuck. And someone who feels like they're stuck in a bad environment of people that are not going the same way. They're not going up.
Yeah.
Like the Forex. They're not going up. And just be wary of the things that we mentioned.
Yeah.
Be wary of who's recruiting you. Be wary of the signs of people who are going about it all wrong, saying things like, we're going to make it by just chilling.
Yeah.
You don't got to put in that much work. Or even when I know some people.
I got a couple I want to say after.
Yeah,
too.
even like some red flags are when they put other people down for not joining.
Yeah.
Because they
I don't
think
really like that either.
Because they think that that's the only way to do it. That's because they don't understand that they're not there. They're not going to be successful because they're in the company. They're going to be successful because they're learning these skills, how to sell their product.
Yeah. So what I want to say is, if you are thinking about joining MLM, be careful. Don't get sold on a dream. Don't think that the success is going to become easy. Don't think that it's going to be guaranteed. And just know that anything that comes easy in life is probably not worth having. I love that quote.
Yeah. And also to touch on the last quote, if it seems too good to be true, it's probably not true.
Yeah, it's probably too good to be true.
Probably too good to be true. But again, it could be an awesome experience for someone that was.
I feel like people even in an MLM could get some value out of this because they know, like, maybe they don't know they're in a sales business, and they'll be like, oh.
Yeah, you have to
time to learn
in
how to
any
sell.
in any business. This can be applied to any business, anything. The only reason we're touching on MLMs is because because they don't know the kind of business that they're in and the job that they have to do and the responsibility that they have being a mentor. Sometimes it's they think that they are capable. For example, we said we're gonna touch on this. I'll just say it in 5 seconds. One of our friends told us, one of my old neighbor told us to go to this meeting. She was in Primerica, and she said,
I forgot about that.
She said, I know, I did too. She said a bunch of successful entrepreneurs are going to be there.
We don't got to cut it off anytime soon. As long as we're not like rambling and trying to make it hit a certain point, I feel like we could keep going.
what you think, guys. Put in the comments below. Just kidding. She said a bunch of successful entrepreneurs, and I straight up asked her.
Who?
The meeting we went to, homie.
No, never mind. I'll tell you after.
I straight up asked her. It's not just for Primerica, right? Because I know
okay.
I know they have their meetings trying to recruit people. I was like, it's not one of those, right? And then she's like, no, it's not. Like, there's gonna be. We go and it's straight up a recruitment meeting
That's
to
it.
recruit people.
The
That's
successful entrepreneurs that were there were people in their fucking business trying to be like, yeah, dude, join.
It. No,
Basically.
even after I was like, Ruby, you. She's not listening. Even after I was like, homie, you like straight up lied to me. Thanks. And she's like, oh, I hope you had fun.
That's gonna get bleeped out.
No, you don't have to. I don't care.
All right, then I'm leaving it in.
Yeah, leave it in. It's the truth. We don't bleep out the truth.
We will never censor ourselves.
We
probably will.
It's straight up. She straight up lied to us, and so again, with good intentions, she knows that me and Lucas were entrepreneurship minded. Well, I
didn't know
I just
her.
brought him
I didn't
along
know
with
her.
me. She knew I was entrepreneurship minded, or open minded at
It's
least.
from his ghetto neighborhood.
But straight up lied, and that's because a lot of these people don't understand that their skill is. And also their responsibility, to bring on people. You should have responsibility to only bring on people that you actually believe in.
Or if you're gonna mentor people, you should take the responsibility that you
To not lie.
And you
Tell people you're in an MLM.
are gonna have an
MLM.
impact on this person's future. So you should probably be transparent on the possibilities in this business and the negatives of it too.
And you should also take your self-development serious and be serious with people when they ask you questions. Don't just assume that you're well off enough to be this person's mentor in all aspects of life if you can't even handle your own your own things on your own plate.
Yep.
You think that's about it?
I think that's a good place to end it. Thanks for lifting, guys.
Thanks for lifting. That it, or you want to wrap it up?
If you wanted to continue, we could keep going.
No, I just wanted to wrap it up. Yeah, I think we could cut off where we said thanks for lifting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for lifting.
Thanks for lifting, guys.